Hello, this video will demonstrate how to record a CICS virtual service using the CA Dev Test portal. CICS virtual service is a program that's linked to in CICS. Any program that's initiated via CICS link we can record and virtualize. So I've got a CICS transaction. I can run it several different ways. Here's a TN3270 window. An old green screen where I can run the transaction directly in CICS. And there the transaction is running. I can also run it through the CICS transaction gateway. It goes through a little Java program that accesses the CICS transaction gateway and runs the CICS transaction. And in this transaction, we have a program called demo getB that is an issue sometimes when we're doing testing. Demo getB will fail occasionally because perhaps a database is down, or some test data didn't get reset, or maybe it's a DPL link, a distributed program link, and the remote CICS region is not available. For whatever reason, we'd like to virtualize it to eliminate it as a constraint. So before we get going, we have to check a couple of things. Let's make sure our CICS agents are connected. You can click on the Agents tab in the portal. There's our 3 CICS agents that we have connected under the Mainframe tab. The one we care about here is CICS TS53, that's the Apple ID. The first prefix is SOW1, which is the LPAR that CICS region is running on. We have a green flag, so it shows that we're connected. Next, we have to make sure that we have a copybook bundle that I can use for the program demo getB. We want to use copybooks to map the COM area that's passed into demo getB and returned by demo getB. So there's the file we have that has the COBOL copybook mapping for the COM area. It's called demogetb.txt, and it's just your typical COBOL syntax defining a data area. Part of the copybook bundle is also a mapping file that shows how things are mapped. This allows me to map a program to a specific copybook. And we can look at the mapping that's been set up for demo getB. There's mapping for both the request and the response. They're the same in this case because the copybook applies to both the request COM area and the response. And this mapping simply says if I have a program called demo getB, then use demogetb.txt. And you can look down here and see the actual XML that's generated that's used in the virtual service. It says to use the metadata, a program name key, and if it has the value demo getB, then use demogetb.txt for the copybook. Okay, so we've got everything ready to go, and we can record our virtual service. So we will create a virtual service by recording. We'll give it a name of demo getB. And the transport protocol is CICS, because we're talking to the CICS agent. I have to tell it which program to record, and I can do that in 2 ways. There's this defined elements panel where I can look at the programs that are defined on the CICS regions. So let me change the prefix to demo and retrieve 100. And refresh it, and that shows me all the programs that start with DEMO on all of the CICS regions. I can reduce it down to CICS TS53, and there's all my programs. So I could select demo getB from this list, or I could add it manually. And let's take a look at how to add it manually. Click on the Add element, put in the name, the region I want to record on, the CICS region, is CICSTS53 on LPAR SOW1. And I've got a green light here. So once I have a green light, it means I'm ready to record. I could also enter one of these filters if I needed to restrict both the recording and the playback for the virtual service. I could restrict it to transactions in CICS that are run by a specific user ID, or CICS links that have a certain system ID or transaction ID coded on the CICS link, or I could restrict it to the current running transaction. That's the EIB transaction ID, the current running transaction that's performing the CICS link. I don't need any filters for this demo, so I'll go ahead and start recording. Now that I'm recording, I simply run my transaction that does the link to demo get B. We can run it through the CICS transaction gateway. And I've got one transaction recorded. And that's all I really need to create a pretty reasonable virtual service. So let's finish this up. We have to add the CICS copybook data protocol for both the request and the response. This will allow us to map the COM area with copybooks. And to specify this, I have to tell it which copybook bundle to use. I'll use the one I've got called CICS. I'll leave the default start and end column. That's the COBOL standard, start in column 6 and end in 72. And I've already got it set up to use code page IBM 037, so it will convert EBCDIC to ASCII in all of the character fields. I've done this for the request, and I have to save it and indicate the same thing for the response. So I'll just make sure that that's got the right copybook bundle selected. And I'm ready to go. So I'll go ahead and save it and edit the virtual service just to take a look at it. So here's the virtual service that it created. There is two responses here. There's the exact match response, which is the first one, and there's the default response, or sometimes called the meta response. So in the request, you can see that it took data out of the payload or out of the COM area and mapped it to the copybook. All of these names are data areas that came out of the copybook, data area names. And it recognized that the account number looks like it could be a candidate for a magic string, so it made it a magic string. And that was a good choice because it is best used as a magic string. And the rest of the areas weren't set in the request. In the response, you can see it mapped out by the copybook. This is the data in the COM area, and it's got this flag, this message. It's got the account number in a magic string, and then it's got the balance, the account balance, and then the average balance. And this is the response that'll be used for when the account number is 1, when it matches exactly. This meta response is what's going to be used when the account number doesn't match 1. And I can edit this to provide whatever values I want. I could change this to 999 for the meta response, whatever I want to do. And that's as simple as it is to create a CICS virtual service recording in the portal. Thank you.